Well, hello and welcome back to the Andrew Eborn Show with me, Andrew Eborn, and it's time for another visit to the ER, Eborn and Read, with the wonderful Mike Read. How you doing, Mike?
Hello, E.R. here.
Hey, I love it. We could do that. We could do the whole James Bond thing, couldn't we? Because they've done M and they've done Q, and they've done, I think yes, E and R would be good, I reckon.
The problem is it stands for
Well, you could have a vowel movement as well, couldn't you? Which would be a bit...
Of course you could, yes, in the consonant somewhere.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've been talking about how everybody's had to adapt to these extraordinary times. And the latest report is all this nonsense, isn't there, about birthdays and everybody's singing happy birthday. And the big thing you do, you bring out your cake and it's got your candles on. And what are you supposed to do? Blow on them. Now, obviously, people are really upset about the fact you're going to get all this stuff all over them. What's the latest thinking?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because they're now worried about the force with which things come out of people's mouths in terms of catching something, which is why about the live gigs and people being near you, or what have you, that if someone's shouting, we're suddenly aware of it now. If you're talking to someone and they're shouting at you, you go, oh, hang on, I better get 3 meters away if you're shouting. So that's the problem, is what's coming out of somebody's mouth. We've had birthdays forever and ever, and suddenly they're worried about people blowing on the candles because spit, saliva, germs could get on the cake. Everyone want a slice? Yes, please. Yes, please. Could you spit on mine? Thank you very much.
Spray that again. I know that's the thing. Well, we had, that was the previous thing, wasn't it? Because when you were allowed to have a certain number of people gathering, whether it's for a funeral, sadly, or for a wedding or a celebration, you weren't allowed any singing either, were you? Because people would, similar sort of thing, if you sang or you spoke too much, you couldn't do that.
I know, it is incredible, isn't it? I mean, the extraordinary thing is, I mean, some people, draw similarities, with the Second World War and things like that, which of course it's not, because people could get together. You could have human contact, that wasn't not impossible. I mean, people did, they worked together, they bonded together. And even when, Cromwell was draconian and banned Christmas for years and years and years on end, I mean, people could still do it because all over the country it didn't matter. You were out in the wilds of East Anglia and no one would spot you, so you could still do it. So despite these draconian measures in certain eras we've had, we haven't really had anything like this. I mean, even when things like the plague and the Black Death, there were no measures in force. There should have been, but there weren't any measures in force then, so people could still get together and do things. I mean, obviously we're more aware these days, so it's a sensible thing to do. But it's interesting because it's the first time we've been segregated as a world. We're segregated from other countries for the first time, segregated from each other, from our relatives, from our next door neighbors. It's the most extraordinary situation.
No, absolutely. And you start to value, don't you, the things which are really important, such as human contact. You start to value teachers, because all the people having to homeschool and the difficulties that they do. And you've got the new heroes now, haven't you, as well? It's always Banksy, the recent artwork, which I loved, where basically you had a child playing at home, probably having sung Happy Birthday, and they had all these gifts. They had Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman all consigned to the bin, but the person was playing with the little NHS nurse, the new superhero, which sort of encapsulated the moment brilliantly.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary times, extraordinary situation. And of course, there are a lot of people that are concerned about our freedom, are concerned about where we're going in terms of business as well, and in terms of companies going to the wall. So I mean, it is a problem. I mean, there's no question about that. I mean, there's so many small companies, so many large companies will fold, and what's going to happen to all those big office blocks in big cities? I mean, are people ever going to, infest those again? Do they want to go back to the city every day and drive up and get in a train? They're going to be more aware of other people, of people coughing and sneezing, which you weren't before. We took it as part of live people on the train. They're coughing, they're sneezing, they're blowing their nose. That's fine. Now we'd be very aware. You'd probably move if somebody did that now. You go, oh, I don't want to sit near them. So will people be doing more Zoom meetings? They probably will. Working from home more? They probably will. Less traffic on the road, good for the environment, certainly. But a lot of those office blocks in London may well come rolling down in price.
Oh, no, absolutely. I think people have, we've forced, technology has suddenly advanced tremendously because they've suddenly realized, oh, we've been talking about this for years about people working remotely. Well, we've been forced to do it. And companies turning around and say, well, actually, we can probably save a lot of money doing that.
Indeed. I mean, which is why I'm baffled. They're still pressing ahead with HS2. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. More and more people working from home. You get to Birmingham 10 minutes quicker, and it's meant to be part of a national network, which is going to take forever and ever and ever, by which time people won't really use trains. It seems to me an absolute pointless waste of money, HS2. Digging up the countryside, dividing villages, smashing places down, ancient woodlands, just to build another train line to Birmingham. Absolutely no sense whatsoever. If I were Prime Minister, I'd stop that immediately. Right, stop right now. Thank you very much. I mean, absolute waste of time and waste of money.
And you tempted to be Prime Minister? I know you've dabbled in politics.
No, I don't intend to be. I'm just saying, if I were, then that's one thing I would do. You'd save all that money. I mean, because more and more people are working from home, working from laptops, and traveling less. So why are they still pursuing HS2? I have no idea. It seems just if people sit around a table, why isn't everybody saying this is an idiotic idea? Why are they all saying it's a good idea? I simply don't get it. That's not a political statement. I just don't get it.
Yeah, and many people have shared similar views, and some the other way as well. They're sort of turning around to get to Birmingham 10 minutes quicker. We'll save that extra 10 minutes. So you've got more 10 minutes.
I can't think of many people saying that, because you also get to London 10 minutes quicker. So the people from Birmingham will pour into London, and what it will also do, it will sort of, that what they're hoping, boost London and Birmingham. But what about all those towns and cities all around it that this new superline bypasses? That's not good. So there are far more negatives, I think, than positives.
And again, we can sort of shine a spotlight in all of those. And I think that's what people are reevaluating, aren't they? But reevaluating happy birthday, I mean, extraordinary. Because happy birthday, people forget, still in copyright. And sometimes when it's sung at concerts, you have to fill in these wonderful PRS forms and put down happy birthday. I remember when Michael Jackson sang, I think it was at Wembley, and the audience, it was on his birthday, and the audience burst into song singing him happy birthday. The poor old promoter had to write down happy birthday sang, and some of the box office went to the copyright owner.
Yeah, it was written by two sisters, and I think one had quite a long life, and of course it's 75 years after the death of the last writer. So I'm not sure whether it's out of copyright now, but for a long time it was, and people didn't realize it. They thought, oh, happy birthday, it's just happy birthday. It's standard, doesn't belong to anybody. But these two sisters wrote it, and one had quite a long life. That's why it stayed in copyright for a long time.
Extraordinary stuff. So they can't sing it anymore, but it has, well, they'll probably sing it, but a bit quieter, but blowing out the candles. Why is that? Do you remember that? I mean, all that sort of mystical thing, wasn't it? Because they do it in religious ceremonies where you have a candle, you blow it out, and then it's the spirit going higher into the heavens. What's the story about birthday candles? Do you remember?
I don't know the story, but I haven't really studied it that closely. I would think, yeah, it's a token.
Never let the truth stand in the way of a good story. I'm sure we can come up with something. I like the idea that you blow your wishes. Maybe that's it, is what you do. You make a wish, and when you blow out the candle, the smoke carries your wish all the way up to the heavens, where the angels look down on you and say, yes, Michael, you've been a good boy. We'll grant that wish.
Okay, could we just have a drugs test here for Mr. Eborn, please? Drugs test for Mr. Eborn. Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah, you'll be okay. They're coming in a moment.
Thank you. Always enjoy. Well, to celebrate or to commiserate or to mark the moment that they decided that blowing on candles was not such a good idea, it's over to the Radio Laureate, Mike Read.
Yes, the Vandals took the candles, as Dylan almost said at the end of Subterranean Homesick Blues. The Vandals took the handles. They say that when lockdown ends and once again you can invite your friends to birthday parties with cakes and squash and bowls of Smarties, when it comes to the highlight of the day and the cake comes in, here it is, make way, let's all sing happy birthday to you, and then you get to nibble and chew a big slice each. No rushing, no grabbing, no need to reach, you bunch of vandals. First it's the blowing out of the candles. But wait, it's not as simple as that. There's a caveat, a new edict from the government, a covenant. There are new terms, and it's all about germs. In legal terms, it is now writ that when you blow, you also spit. So in effect, the birthday girl or boy is spitting and spluttering with birthday joy all over the main birthday treat that everybody has to eat, though the government haven't laid down rules about spitting on sausage rolls. So if you want to, do, and spit all over the twiglets too. Oh, dearie me, oh golly gosh, I appear to have spat in your lemon squash. And back to the cake, there's plenty left. No? You sure? Oh, I'm quite bereft. Go on, have another sliver. Or is it sliver? Because it's covered in birthday boy's saliva.
Oh, gloriously gross. I love it. It's always a Mike Read, thank you so much for joining us.
Let me spit in your lemon squash.
Not twice in one day. It's got to be good. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.